Okay. It's going. Great. Good morning, good evening, everyone. You won't believe it, but we've actually reached the final lesson in module 4, which has all been about the Ring of Steel. And today we're going to talk about your next level clubs. It's something we don't talk about often enough, and it's such an accelerating strategy. It's not even funny. So I'm hoping to serve as a reminder for you today what other resources is available out there for you in order to not only generate leads, but build a ring of steel of people around you that support you so that you don't have to do everything alone as an entrepreneur. So many people go at it alone and it gets lonely, right? And it's not necessarily supposed to be like that. So hands up if you've been in a corporate before. It wasn't fun, right? But you had people around you, you had team around you. And so many people leave corporate so upset with it that they don't want to implement any of the teachings that corporate has taught us. And one of the things corporate has taught us is that we can't do everything alone. We need people around us. And that's what the Ring of Steel is about. So today we're tackling the final section in the Ring of Steel called Your Next Level Clubs, where we're going to talk about how you can associate with platforms, playgrounds, and leadership forums that influence you towards greatness. Not only influence you towards greatness because you need people around you that you can learn from. If we stop learning, we pop. It's over for us. We can't sit there on our own behind the computer every single day and think that we're going to expand our mindsets. So for you to want to go next level, which I believe many of you want to go, otherwise you're stagnating, you need people around you. And we're going to specifically talk about next level club. So for those of you who are here the first time, I want to highly encourage you to take a few steps back, rewind, and go and listen to module 4 of the Octopus Academy, if you may, which is all about building these people around you. And we've discussed putting an advisory board together for yourself, not a legal one, not an illegal one, an advisory board, people who wants to be around you and give you board advice, board counsel, how to put a dream team together, get number experts in your business, have wellness coaches so you can look after the health of your brain. Can't tell how many people sabotage, their journey in life and business with their brain. You see this in your own life, you see it in your own brain, you see it with the people around you. We spoke about wingmen last time, or wing women, and today we're talking about next level clubs. And this all forms part of this ring of steel that we want you to build around you so that you don't have to go at everything alone. So what does next level growth mean for you? And I think that's a question you're going to have to ask yourself if we're going to look at next level clubs today, because next level clubs for Chris will be different than next level clubs for Joni, which will be different for Diane. So it depends on where you want to play and what's the game you want to play here, right? So if you're a person who want to grow your business and you're looking at more profit, that is the goal you have to write down today. You have to say, that's where I'm going. I want good income. I want a predictable revenue stream. And I want 1 or 2 brand new clients that's good retainers, and that's my goal, right? Or my goal with next level clubs is I want to actually have more speaking bookings. I want to appear more on stage. I don't want to appear on stage at, let's say, speakers associations. I want to be on stage with the big brands, and I want them to hire me and I want them to pay my keynote fee. Or, you know what? No, I want to be more involved. My goal is with the peers in my industry. I want to understand the market trends. I want to know what's happening on the global scene. I want to be known as the person who's on top of my game and know what's going on. And I want to be hanging out with my peers, and I want to hear how they're doing things. I want to hear how they consult. I want to hear how they get their keynotes. I want to hear what clients they have and see if I can use that as more of a broker model to get onto their client database. So if you want to get most value from today's session, you want to be clear on that. You want to know what's your goal. If you're wearing 1,000 hats, it's difficult. I know you're a talented bunch, so you all wear 1,000 hats. But if you want this to be valuable, choose a hat. It's not easy. We now in the era of ADD. Everyone's got ADD. I think if one more person tell me they've got ADD, everyone's got it. I've come to the conclusion now everyone's got it then. And now with TikTok, it's not helping because now people have even more ADD because now people scroll like crazy. Through TikTok, I see my own brain being formed or reformed by that. You know, we used to have Facebook and we used to scroll slowly and elegantly through it. Ding, ding. And look at what's going on there. And now on TikTok, you know, you're sort of bored after 3 seconds. So Microsoft has actually done research on this recently. And they were the same brand who did the research, who said to us, look, our attention span is actually shorter than goldfish. And apparently it's now worse because of TikTok. So that's why I want you to focus. The more you focus on your goal with why you came to this call here today and what you want to get out of it, the more you're going to get a result. So your question is, what is your next level? Is your next level brands? Is your next level income? Is your next level peers? Ask yourself that question. And then also realize that if you want to go to your next level, and that's why I got this picture here, you have to expand your universe. You know, it's really great that a lot of you here sit within the umbrella of the Circle of Excellence group of company. You've either invested here as a Circle of Excellence member, or you've invested as a titanium client, or you've invested as an octopus member, the octopus tribe. If you've invested here, it tells me you want to expand yourself. But sitting in front of your computer every day, building sales pipelines and chatting with people on LinkedIn, even though that's great, is not going to necessarily expand your universe. What you're doing is you're getting a lot of information in. You're gathering a lot of information. You may even be gathering a lot of intelligence, but you're not moving on to the next level, which is experiential learning. So you can have as many podcasts, you can listen to as many podcasts, as many YouTubes, as many courses you can be doing, all that. You can have as many chats online. If you don't go out in the universe and go into experiential learning, it's not going to mean anything for you because you're not making contact with other people. You're not taking the intelligence and trying and testing it and coming to logical deduction whether that works for you or not. And in the process, you fall into the hermit syndrome where you're not mingling with people. So you're not going to learn. So let's say this picture that you're looking at, which is this expansive picture, has 3 levels to it. Your first level would be to gather the information. That's what you're doing today. You're gathering information. The second thing, you go out there in the world and you go and experiment with that and you apply the information and you implement it. That's your next level of learning. And then the third level of learning is when you've done it over and over and over and over and over again, and then you become master it. So if you're a master in something, if you sit here today and you go, jeepers, I'm really good with helping my clients, I'm a master in it, it's because you've done it over and over again. If you sit here today and you go, I don't have any cash flow and I don't have any clients and I don't have any bookings, it's because you're not a master in it yet. Therefore, you need to take this information and go and implement it. I just said you need to take this information and go and implement it. But it's crazy, you know. There is many people that sit on the school that wants to go to the gym and they want to have muscles, you know. You're not going to get an eating program and a workout program and go to the gym and come back and have a muscle. It's just not the way it works. That's the same. It works with receiving intelligence or receiving information and applying it. So I want to encourage you that what you learn here today, that you don't just go and do one action or one Google and go, oh no, it's not working for me. Do it over and over and over again, because the more you're going to do it, the more you're going to become a master in this area. It's no use if you have a brilliant message for the world, but the message is not reaching the world. Many of you have a brilliant solution here. You've got a brilliant product here. You've got a brilliant service, but no one is going to know about it because you're not opening your mind to expand your skill set. And our skill sets are not the same. For some of you, I'm going to give some counsel today and you're going to like that. Others is not going to like that. Choose what works to your strengths. Don't choose the action that doesn't work to your strength because you're setting yourself up for failure, right? So with that whole palaver of an introduction, let's now move to worldwide premium clubs. Yes, There's clubs all over the world. And I want you to stretch your mind and not just think of traditional clubs. There's many places all over the world that has formed small communities of people who got each other's backs like all the time. And that is based on friendship. It's really nothing bigger than that, you know. It's really about finding these places, showing up at these places, shining and being your own true self, and forming deep, meaningful relationships with people. But what I want to get across today is that you don't necessarily go to the local meetup in your jean and jersey, but that you start flipping your mind to asking where premium 5-star people are hanging out. Why do I want you to hang out with the premium 5-star people? One, because I believe you're a premium 5-star people. I believe you're one of those people, not necessarily because of the way you dress, not because of, you know, the fact that you drive a Porsche, but the fact that you've got a 5-star offering to bring to the world. You don't have a 1-star offering, you've got a 5-star offering. Your gig on stage is 5-star. Your ability to heal people is 5-star. Your ability to consult with people or to take people through a transformation is 5-star. That's why you have to flip your mindset and start hanging out with 5-star people, because they're looking for 5-star solutions. So you have to ask yourself, where are they hanging out? So I'm not just talking about networking here. I'm talking about next level clubs that sits all over the world. If you want to be smart about it, you'll find clubs that has branches already. And I'm going to stretch your mind here a little bit later on where we can find them and what type of clubs I mean. But don't steer away from 5-star clubs because you don't think you're 5-star. You know, some of the people in the top positions and some of the most successful people out there is looking for your product and service because they've been Googling over and over again, and they've hired people over and over again, and they are disappointed. They are disappointed. So for you to find these people is not a luxury. For you to find these people are absolutely essential. And you're not going to build a good cash flow and revenue stream if you sit on LinkedIn and you're chatting with people one-on-one. That's incredibly valuable. Don't let me throw that away. It's very valuable. And next, we're going to go on to module 5, which is about smart marketing. And I promise you, I'm going to hammer LinkedIn a lot, and I'm going to talk about it a lot. And you have to build that profile, and you have to chat with people and open markets. But this is another strategy. This is a strategy which is an acceleration strategy. This is a strategy where you meet people in person, you form deep, meaningful relationships with them, and they start knowing you, and they start knowing the value of your product and service. And here's the golden thing: they start trusting you as a 5-star service provider, and they start recommending you to the people in their environment, right? So hanging out with 5-star people mean you have to look for 5-star clubs, and you have to show up in a 5-star way. That means you don't want to go to these clubs, you know, in your black bag suit that you pull over your head looking like a bum. You want to pitch here looking like the best version of yourself that you possibly can, right? So I'm not here to give you image style tips, but I am saying you are playing a game initially. Initially, you're playing a game, and that's the game of getting people to trust me. And if you don't pitch like 5-star, it's really, really tough for people to trust you. You can't expect people to trust you if you don't pitch 5-star. It's like expecting the poor bum on the street to do open heart surgery on you. You're not going to allow it. You're not going to do it. You're going to go, look, dude, I'm really sorry. I'm sure you're a good person, you know, but you're not doing open heart surgery on me, because that person is not able to create trust with you because of their physical appearances. Get that straight and accept that, and your life will change. Some of you got that right on the school, some of you don't, right? I'm not saying you have to walk around looking 5-star all the time. I'm saying if you're looking out 5-star clubs and you want to hang out with people who's going to pay you and take you serious and trust you, maybe need to up the game there a little bit, right? And do it in your way. Don't do it in the Landi Jac way or the someone you saw on YouTube way. You do it in your way. I trust that all of you have got swagger. I want to see that swagger, right? So that's the first principle here. The second principle is there's not only clubs out there, there's not only 5-star clubs out there, there's associations out there. And there's associations that's linked to your industry. If you're a speaker, there's speaker associations all over the world. This is a huge platform. This is something that massively leveraged or launched Mike. He's won award after award after award in the speaking association arena, which opened many, many doors for him. It's opened incredible friendships for him. It's opened up business partnerships for him. It's opened up exposure for him. It's opened up a PR for him. It's opening so many things for him. And the same can apply for you in industry. So if you're a coach, there's coaching associations all over the world. If you're a consultant, there's consulting associations all over the world. If you're a speaker, there's speaker associations all over the world. If you are a wine drinker, there's wine tasting associations all over the world. If you like your yacht, there's yacht clubs all over the world. If you're into finances, there's associations for that as well. If you're into health and safety, there's associations for that as well. If you're into personality profiling, there's associations for that as well. And so on and so on and so on. If you're into sales, there's clubs that looks up that's crazy about sales and digital marketing. I mean, there's a cruise ship every year that goes from Fort Lauderdale that only gets digital marketers on their ship. So people huddle together. And you want to find out where you people are huddling together. And the brilliance of this is that we don't live in a time anymore where what we do cover only one industry. If you're a coach and you're into well-being, you potentially cover the well-being industry plus the spiritual industry, plus maybe 2 or others. So you can go and look into these industries, look for their associations and communities and 5-star clubs and get in there. And you get in there with no nervousness. You don't get in there initially going, oh, you know, how am I going to pitch these people, or how am I going to sell my product? When it comes to these clubs and associations, your first mission, this is like me giving you a spy mission, right? Your first mission in going into these places is to make friends. Make friends. Here's your theme song, right? Do, 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 do. That's all you have to do. I'm sending you on a mission. I don't send spies on a mission to say to them, go and sell your product or service. You're going in there to win over people's hearts by being yourself. That's all you have to do. You have to find the clubs, you have to pay a membership fee, and you have to get in there and win people over. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, this goes for the Circle of Excellence as well. And this goes for the Octopus Tribe as well. Most of you on this call don't know most of the people in the Circle of Excellence. It blows my mind. All you have to do is be yourself and go onto the Facebook page where you belong, look at the members there, choose 3 or 4 and say, I'm going to win these people's hearts over. I'm going to make them fall in love with me. I'm going to make them fall in love with me by truly loving them, by showing them my strengths and by doing things for them. And that's how you build relationships. But I feel our computers and all these smart techniques and technologies, which has its place, is taking our eye off the ball, and it's taking our focus of building relationships with people. That's why me and Mike are super excited about the Bali School that's coming up. And that's why we're super excited about the Global Speaker Summit coming up, because of the connections, because of the relationships, because of a Joni running to someone she's not seen for years and giving each other a big hug and doing their jogging together in the morning, because of Andrea meeting brand new people there and going, what the hell, these are my people, where have you been all my life? That's why we do this. This is why we build connections. So for you to do normal lead generation on a daily basis, online on your computer, and for you to go and visit the occasional networking meeting once a month is not gonna accelerate you. You have to really play a bigger game when it comes to your relationships with people. And this, by the way, is 101 sales psychology that I'm sharing with you now. And people don't like that name, sales, but sales is relationships. And in my years in working now with business owners and very successful people, I find that when people are steering away from sales, they are steering away from deep, meaningful conversations and relationships with strangers. This is a big aha moment. This is like, oops, right? And COVID didn't help. COVID really didn't help. COVID let all of us off the hook. It went like, you know, you don't have to build those relationships with people. You can now sit behind your computer, and guess what? You've got a big fat excuse. And guess what else? Everyone's going to buy into that excuse, right? That is you huddling away from deep, meaningful relationships with people. And if you are willing to admit that, and if you're willing to change that, you, my dear friends, going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money, right? So let's start with professional networking. I love that we have our octopus here because this is a visual you can keep in your mind on a weekly basis. If you're looking at your bank account and there ain't nothing happening, or you're the type of entrepreneur that earns a lot of money and then suddenly everything is gone, or you just do not have the predictability or the ability in your business to build a sales pipeline, and you're always wondering and you're starting every single month basically over from scratch again, and it's causing you copious amounts of stress and problems, it's probably because you're not taking counsel from the octopus. The octopus is the global citizen, and it has its tentacles in many, many areas, and it's doing it in a very intelligent way. I mean, the octopus has got a brain, as you can see, a big one, but the octopus also have a brain in every one of its 8 tentacles. And the teaching here, the philosophy is we need to have our fingers and a lot of tentacles as well, all the time. This is traditionally that was called risk management. So you want to manage the risk of your business by making sure that there's constant streams of cash flow from multiple resources. Therefore, you need a LinkedIn strategy, but you also need a referral strategy, and you also need a networking strategy, and you need strategies for at least 8 things, I would say, in your business if you want to manage your risk. Why is it important? Well, because we're in an era now where you see industries fall over overnight. We're in an era where we see the rise of new industries overnight. We're in an era where governments can tell us it's time to stop working and not go anything. It's time for you to get back into lockdown, and so on and so on and so on. So this is not fear mongering. This is saying be proactive. Don't be reactive. Don't wait for these things to happen. Don't sit with your friends over dinner and going, oh, you know, I wonder if there's ever going to be a COVID again. And what do you think is the conspiracy theory? That's great that you do that, but also take that to your diary. Go to your business and your business model and be proactive. Create what-if scenarios. Ask yourself, what if that happens? Do I have a tentacle for that? What if that happens? Do I have a tentacle for that? What if I'm not able to stand in front of people on stage anymore? Do I have a tentacle for that? What if I'm not able to travel the world anymore and see people? Do I have a tentacle for that? If I can't network, do I have a tentacle for that? If I lose my sight, do I have a tentacle for that? So this is not meant to freak you out. This is meant to expand your mind so that you start seeing your business as an octopus with various tentacles where you're managing your risk. And one of the places where people are massively lacking in managing their risk is not investing in relationships with other people as far and wide and deep as possible. And this is where professional networking comes in as a valuable source of investing in your relationship, in your business, and managing your risk. So I've got here for your world networking map to get you going, right? This is just to make you go, okay, well, we spoke about networking all over the world. But before I'm going to go into the world networking map, just want to quickly stop the screen share. And now I can see all your faces in all your glory. And I'm going to start it again. And I just want to open a document here. And I'm going to go to this. I'm just opening a website here because I want to show you something that's crazy, you know, blows my mind. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly stop here again. Okay. Look at this, people. Look at this. Okay. This is Kelvin Grove, right? This is a club we belong to in South Africa. We pay an annual fee to be part of this club. It's a premium club. You go there and it's a little bit hoity-toity, but you get incredible value out of this. Value like you can go there and you can sit and work from this place. You can, have meetings there. Brilliant to have meetings there because it's a proper looking place. So people get there and they go, oh, this is a 5-star club. Maybe this is a 5-star person as well. So we meet people there. We run events there. We get discounts to run our events there. There's a pool there. I mean, me and Mike are not going to strut around that and swim there, but there's people who like that stuff. They go there on a Friday and they strut around and they go and have their drink. Oh, amazing relationships with that. If you have a hot body, do that. Go to one of these clubs and strut around in your bikini and have your cocktail and build relationships. That's your thing. Everyone for their own. Live and let live, right? So other people go and they go to the gym there at the club. That's how they meet the people there. They don't use it for business meetings. They use the gym there. Other people go and sit there in front of the big fire, whatever floats your boat, but they use the club and they've built relationships with people at their club. Many people sit at their club and they are in cliques. They're in cliques, They've been members for years. They've not met one new person. Other people go and do wine tastings there and so on and so on and so on, Other people sit there and talk about theatre because that's what they do together. They form those relationships and they go on theatre. Now, here's the thing. Now you go, Landi, did Kelvin Grove pay you to say this? No, they didn't, right? I'm sharing this with you because this is a mind-blowing epiphany. When you go into Kelvin Grove's website, you go onto a website, you find an area that says reciprocal clubs. Are you ready? Look at the reciprocal clubs just by belonging to one club. Hong Kong Cricket Club, the India Bengal Club, Singapore Cricket Club, Thailand British Club Bangkok, in Kenya, the Muthaiga Country Club, in South Africa, the Country Club Joburg, King David Mowbray Golf Club. There's more. I'm just going to scroll down. Look at all the South African. Zimbabwe, the Bulawayo Club. In Australia, the American Club. The Athenaeum Club in Australia. The Royal Automobile Club of Australia. Well, if you're not into cars, maybe now's the time, right? The Royal Automobile Club of Victoria. The Royal South Yarra Lawn Tennis Club. Maybe you haven't learned to play tennis, now's the time, right? These are the hoity-toity type of club. This is also saying to you, maybe I should play a bit of tennis, Maybe if I'm single, I should, if you're going to date, why not date people with yachts, I mean, just saying, be strategic. Sydney Cricket and Sports Club, right? The ground Moira's laughing. She's going, did you just say that? Moira, someone has to say it, right? Union University and Schools Club of Sydney, the United Services Club in Queensland, the Western Australian Cricket Association. Look in New Zealand, the Officers Club. There's another one in New Zealand that we actually have a reciprocal agreement with. Look in Europe, in Amsterdam, the Koninklijke Industriële Grote Club. How cute is that? There it goes. You have a reciprocal in France, in Germany, in Ireland, in United Kingdom. Gosh, you can keep yourself busy for the rest of your life, forming part of one club. And if it's your thing, flying around the world and forming relationships with these people just because of the reciprocal rights that the club offer. This is mind-blowing and people don't know about this, right? So I'm just going to stop my share now. And I'm going to take you back to the presentation that has now not disappeared. Okay, there you go. So there's options. You have so many options, but in order for you to exercise that options, you need to get going. But I mean, you can be smart about it. You buy one outfit, you buy one cool suit, and you pitch at one of these clubs, right? Once you can map your entire world travel based on the reciprocal clubs that belong to one club, right? Doesn't matter what country you're in. And even if you're just in one country and you don't want to travel the world, you can start working those clubs. You know, some of us like to go wide. Me and Mike like to go wide. We jump, ping, ping, ping. We go country, 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 country. And we do a little bit here, a little bit there. We'll go to one country and we'll say, look, we only have this much time in that country, so we're going to give our time and attention to 3 people in this country, right? We're going to take these 2 out for dinner, and we're going to have a strategy session with this person, for example, a brand, whatever. And then we go ping, 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 like butterflies. Some of you don't like it, right? Some of you say, no, 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 I want to go deep. So I'm going to go into a club, for example, in Australia, and I'm going to work it, baby. I'm going to get to know those people, and I'm going to go there over and over again. That's working it more in a deep level. And, you know, if you have a combination of both, you're going to actually fly. You're going to fly because people's going to get to know you. They're going to like you. And guess what? Here's the magic word. They're going to become loyal to you. And when people start getting loyal to you, by the way, this unfortunately doesn't happen overnight. Magic happens. And why does magic happen? Because you were willing to build deep, meaningful relationships with other people. You did not fall into the trap of immediate gratification. You realized to build a muscle, you have to do the same thing over and over and over again on a consistent basis, and you got rewarded for it. How many times have you learned from very successful people? Then you're sitting there on the podcast going, now you're going to give me the thing that's going to make me successful. You're going to give me the quick fix, and I'm going to implement it, and I'm going to arrive, I've made it. And then that successful person say the same thing that other successful people are saying: consistency, consistency, consistency. You have to do the same thing over and over again. It's the same with meaningful relationships with other people. So my mind explode when a person comes to me and say, Landi, I want to include my cash flow. And then I say to them, you have to go out there and build relationships with people. And then they're on a call with me next week and tell me they tried it once. They tried it once. Yeah, Landi, I did it. I tried it once. It's not working. And I go, right. Let's rather talk about something else. That's where my mind goes, right? Because you are not willing to do that. You're not willing to build relationships. You've got a block around that, and you're not expanding your mindset, and you're not keeping an open mind. And you know when this happens? It happens when change is about to happen, and change is uncomfortable. I like to tell people that mommy and daddy probably taught you some very wrong things. I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but you know, many times they teach us that, you know, you have to do something once or twice, or the worst teaching of all, change is going to be comfortable, or life is always going to be pleasurable. If you're busy moving from this level to the next level, there's going to be a lot of discomfort. The discomfort is the very thing that tell you you're on the right path and you're changing. And the change means you're expanding. So avoiding discomfort, avoiding networking, avoiding relationships with people tell me you are resistant to change. End of story. See you next life, right? So let's look at this networking map. You know, let's look. You could take a picture of this if you want to. This is ways that you can work your networking. This is a world networking map, but you can apply this locally as well, right? There's many ideas here for you. You can go to industry summits. You can go to trade shows. You can start working the network, which is your friends and family. You know, the amount of people that doesn't get along with their friends and family, it's crazy, right? Do not think I'm an angel. I have to work very, very hard in keeping relationships healthy with my family, right? Like many of you, you look at your family and think, how did I ever land onto this alien spaceship, right? These people are so freaking different than me, but it is there for you to teach you to get along with people who's different than you. So if you can't even work meaningful relationships with your family, it's gonna express in your business, and even more so, it's gonna express in your bank account. It's gonna show in your bank account eventually, right? Because you practice with family. Sales and marketing is practiced with family members, and if you practice it with family members and you get it right after so many times of trying, you've literally just experienced a breakthrough in business. You've experienced a teaching in sales psychology. It's all the same thing. It doesn't matter if you don't like the terminology, it's all the same thing, right? So cross-border partnerships, there, LinkedIn is great. You know, if you get someone on LinkedIn, how can you form partnerships? How can you create cross-border partnerships? Membership communities, there's many of them out here. Consulting circles. I made my money in consulting with consulting circles. You literally go where the consultants hang out, which is many times in 5-star hotels on the top roof, having cocktails, and you form friendships, and you go there again, and you go there again, and you get to know each other. And before you know it, I'm sharing all of my corporate brands with my buddy consultant, and they're sharing all of their corporate brands with me. And before you see it, we all do a website together, and we have our 5 faces on there, and we pretend we're a conglomerate, and we pass on business left, right, and center because we're not in competing industries. That's the way consultants does it, right? That's why you get so many consultants that, you know, they're a type of breed. They don't want to be home. They want to travel. They want to do work with other consultants. It's their life. That's what they enjoy the most. It's fine for them if they're home weekend, over the weekends, but they want to be during the week out there, socializing, building relationships with other consultants. You see this all over the world, this consultant communities. You see them going between Sydney and Perth, for example. You see them up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You see them between Auckland and Wellington, up and down, up and down, up and down. Up. You see them between Joburg and Cape Town, up and down, up and down. You see them going between Sydney and Malaysia. You see them going between New York and Washington, D.C. You see them everywhere. Those are consulting circles, right? That's how they do that. That's their business model. They don't do anything else. They form friendships with these people and they grow organically. That's how they do it. Professional associations, many of you on this call has leveraged it. But what's interesting for me, for those of you on this call who's leveraged professional associations in the speaking industry, why don't you do it for other industries in your business as well? Why don't you look for others? Why don't you take that and plus and get the industries to mingle with each other? If you're in the industry of well-being, why don't you go and look for coaching associations or industries or membership circles in the well-being space and start mixing it with your speaking industry? You get premium masterminds. You know, you pay for these premium masterminds, but the people says it blows their minds, the relationships, because you sit in these premium masterminds with high-level people who, by the way, has got high-level connections, leadership conferences, global business events. These all form part of the networking experience. And then because I love you, and I really wanted to use your brain, but I thought, let's just throw in more, right? If you look at the bottom of this infographic, you can sponsor things and get associated in that. You can go to book clubs, wine clubs, local talks, media circles, software as a circle tribes. That's your design pickle tribes, your ClickFunnels tribes, your all these software you buy and that you're paying an arm and a leg for. They all got tribes around them. You use these things in your business, so there's a common denominator. You can go to yacht clubs, network marketing events, theater clubs, Moira, social media groups. You can go to a social media groups and form part of it. Product launches, cocktail parties, business breakfasts, award ceremonies, live audiences. The sky is the limit. And so if you look at your diary and these things are not in your diary, it means you're missing out big time. You are not only missing out big time in terms of business, which is the basic reason, right? Business and profitability, you're missing out there. You're also missing out on really deep and meaningful relationships with other people. That's what you're missing out on. And in this process, the risk in your business is poorly managed. So make sure you take a picture of this. Chris, if anyone want to ask Chris afterwards for the actual infographic, he'll be happy to send it to you. So maybe you want to pop it in the chat. If that's easier for you, Chris, it will be under our infographics, World Networking Map. And it's useful to print this thing as a PDF, laminate it, put it up in your office and look at it. I'm such a big fan of printing things out and looking at it. Now, I'm not trying to not save the trees, but physically looking at something, not digitally looking at something, but physically looking at something means it remains top of mind. And it also means we're cultivating a new uncomfortable skill in you. So when you're looking at not clients coming in, and you look at not business coming in, you look at this map, and then you know this potentially can be one of the reasons why. So here's the thing. By not reaching out to other people, by not building meaningful relationships with other people, you're missing out on money, you're missing out on deep, meaningful relationships, and you're missing out on solving people's problems who need your solution. This is the part where I go, hey, I can understand if you want more money. I can understand if you have a block about money. I can understand if you're an introvert and you don't want to mix with other people. What I don't understand is you not wanting to help other people. That I don't get, right? So that's the part where you give yourself a little bit of a spanky because you've been placed on this planet to help other people and you're not because of the mindset blocks you have, right? So startup communities is the final one I wanted to mention. You know, there's many startup communities there of people who's building startups, people who's getting funding for their startups. You can look at those as well. There's many of them across the world. You can go and sit in them physically. You can look for startup communities and co-working spaces that have spaces across the world. It's not necessarily going to be 5-star premium. So I find that a lot of people get into this space because they want office space. There's very valuable relationships to be formed here, but I would go 5-star clubs and communities first, and I will do this secondary. It does have its benefits. You know, there's a lot of ideas that can be generated in these startup communities. You can get a lot of inspiration. You can give a lot of other people encouragement. Go there, look at that. But if you're going to spend money on a club, spend it on a 5-star club first. You know, my father always said to me, if you want to impact and influence people, go to the top, go to the very top. Don't muck around here with the middle manager or the HR person. I'm not meaning to be disrespectful to them, but many times they don't have a budget and they don't have decision-making power, you know. I remember when I was doing my thesis, my dad, I waited too long. I was busy working while I was studying. I didn't have to, but I wanted to earn money because I learned very early in my life, money means clothes, right? I very early learned that if you have money, you can buy nice things that shine, right? And so while I was studying, I went, okay, and in that case, my dad's only going to subsidize me that much. So I need to get more money to dress in a certain way and whatever. And so I started to work while I was studying. But in doing that, I neglected my master's degree. I neglected it. And it was at the point where I had 6 months to finish it. And I knew my dad's literally going to kill me. Like, you know, for him, he instilled such a level of excellence in us that failure was not an option. I would win the Dean's Medal and he'll go to me, who else won it? And are you the only one, you know? And so he really instilled that. And it's something I appreciate today. It makes me want to up my game all the time. And so I had to approach him at some stage and say, Dad, look, I'm not finished. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish in 6 months. And the reason I won't be finished in 6 months is because I need to do research. I need to get 100 assessments completed so that I have the findings and I can put it in my thesis. And he said, well, I'm going to do you one favor. It's the first and the last favor I'm going to do you. And you better leverage that freaking favor and make it work. I'm going to take you to the top person, top HR director in APSA. And you're going to meet her and you're going to have to convince her. You have one meeting to convince her that you want to do your entire study on them. APSA is a reputable bank in South Africa, for those of you who don't know. And I had to meet him that day like a colleague. He didn't take me there. I had to meet my father there at the front of the building like a colleague in my suit. And I went up the lift and I could see my dad was seeing I was nervous. And he had his, you screwed this up face on. I'm doing a favor. And he said, are you nervous? And I was giving my laugh and I said, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. And he said to me, he looked at me, I said, let me teach you a very, very valuable lesson today about business, right? And I was like, yes, Dad. He said, if you want to play with the big boys, don't piss like a puppy. He said. I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to swallow this, right? And I got up the lift and I met her. I'll never forget her name. Letitia van Dijk was her name. And I met her. And I had an official letter of request. So it wasn't just me sitting in front of her asking her. It was an official letter with a synopsis of the study. And she loved the meeting, you know, thank the gods. She said to me, okay, you can do your study on all my middle management in a certain section, and she instructed them. Not one of them were allowed to not do the assessment because she wanted the results of the assessment. The result was basically to find out what is the correlation between stress and personality traits. So I was looking for what specific personality trait make middle managers in APSA stress, and why does others do so well and others fall over, right? And the study came out, for interest's sake, the only conclusive personality trait that came out of the study was a personality trait called hardiness. So if you have the personality trait of hardiness, you deal 10 times better with stress, according to my study, which I thought was a very good study because I had 100% response rate based on Letitia's instructions. She instructed the managers so badly, she made them come back from holidays to come and fill in my assessment. And so hardiness came out. And my definition of hardiness is, of course, having a thick skin. And second of all, the ability to wipe your ass off at other people. That's it. So the ability to go, I don't care what they think, I'm going to do it anyway. Thick skin, a little bit of a rhino skin there, and you just barge forward and you do it anyway. So you don't worry about selling people because you don't worry what they're going to think. You don't worry, you know, the way you don't worry about pitching in a place and showing up as yourself because you don't worry what other people's going to think. You don't worry barging into a circle of people and being yourself because you don't worry if they're going to gossip if you turn your back. You don't worry about, you know, you're going to say what you want to say anyway. If people reject you, you don't really worry what they think. That is actually a quality that helps you with stress management and resilience. Isn't that fascinating? But anyway, the point there is that you have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable spaces, and you have to mingle with the type of people who could open doors for you the way my dad opened doors for me. My master's degree was done in 6 months, record time, cum laude, because not of what I knew to do, but who I know in these instances. And that is why these co-working spaces and all the networking ideas I gave you is really, really important if you want to get somewhere. So I always love to give some recommended activities. Otherwise, it just becomes like a chat, you know, or me just talking, blah, 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 blah. So you can use these to see if you're on the right track. Please have a quarterly meeting with yourself and use these measurements to see if you're getting anywhere. If you're not, you have to reinvent the wheel or refine what you're doing because it's not just going to change by itself, right? Recommended activities, define your next level growth. What does it look like? Go and get on a mastermind call with a few of your other Circle of Excellence members or your Octribe members and ask each other these questions. Help each other, right? What's your next level growth look like in big dreams as well as measurable targets? So what's your big dream and how can you break those down into steps, right? Steps is boring, I'm sorry, but you have to do it, right? You're in business. That's what you do in business. If you don't do that in business, you have to go and find a job. And then when you find a job, they're going to give you steps too. So I guess it's part of human experience, right? Then research and list some premium clubs. You know, if you're not even going to make the effort to put an Excel sheet together with 10 options in there for you, this is my face. I know those of you who are listening to it on a podcast can't see my face, but it is a bit of a WTF face, right? Like, if you're not even going to do that, then you're not going to build those relationships with people, and then your struggle is going to be real. It's just going to keep on going, right? Don't want you to struggle. I want you to have money. And I want you to have money because it gives you decision-making power. And I want you to have money because with that, you're going to reach other people and you're going to solve their problems. That's why we're all here. We're meant to be conscious leaders, isn't that? So research and list some premium clubs, associations, communities, and networks with reliable social proof of success. Don't just go and form part of a club that, you know, is there because you found it on Google. Ask the members, get in contact with the members. Ask them, look, what's the type of people here, you know? How often do you get together? What's the cost? Is there value? Da, da, da. Then evidence of accomplishment. Membership to at least one next level club that contributes to your personal and professional development. Many of you are already here. You've already invested. You're already part of the Circle of Excellence. Work it to your benefit, right? I would encourage you to go to a membership club that's in your local area as well. Regular attendance to and association with communities, networks, gatherings in your areas of expertise of interest. So here's how we're going to be brutally honest with each other, right? Some of you have got an online diary, which you use to schedule appointments in, right? Some of you have got an offline diary, like me and Mike. We love that. That's how we work together as a couple, because we use color coding. If something's happening with a meeting with me, it's an orange. If it's a meeting with Mike, it's pink. And if it's a meeting where we both have to be present, it is green, right? That's our system. So let me stop share here and show you. So you can see, for example, the first 3 days of our week. You can see the orange stuff is Landi's stuff, the pink stuff is Mike's stuff, and you can see there's green stuff that we do together, right? If your diary doesn't look like that, it ain't happening for you. If your diary is not full of stuff and activities, whether that's online or offline, but today I'm really encouraging offline. If you don't have a diary, if you don't go on a Sunday evening and you look at your diary and you go, right, Monday I'm here and I'm having to do that, then I really have to make sure I get onto traffic in time to be there. Then I have to be there for lunch. So, you can work it at least 3 times a day. I'm not talking to those of you who's super successful and is about to pull your Porsche out of the garage. I'm talking to those of you who want consistent cash flow and you sick of that situation, right? It's activity, but it's the right activity. It's not doing the wrong, it's not doing the wrong things right. A lot of you are very busy, but you're doing the wrong things right. You're doing a lot of online stuff, you're posting, you're on your email, you're busy with your WhatsApp, you're calling your friends, you're having teas with people where you talk about how can we find mutual ground, but none of you know what you're talking about. I'm talking about proactive, focused alignment with people in clubs, communities, and networks that's aligned with your goals of what your next level look like. And your diary needs to be full of that. And if you can't do that, then you need to up your energy and your motivational levels in order to do that. That's a mindset conversation. That is not a networking conversation. Okay, so I would love to at least see one person smile now. Anyone who wants to say something, anyone wants to contribute maybe with an idea that came up or epiphany, we literally have 7 minutes left. And I would love to hear from you.
Landi, when you talk about the networks, could we also include business networks, professional business networks in that as well?
Any network. You can go from your book club. I have Circle of Excellence clients that have an essence that is to do with sci-fi and fantasy books. They go and form part of those clubs and they get business out of those clubs. So I'm talking from the whole spectrum, the spectrum of your personal interests all the way to the other side of the spectrum to your business interests, and finding a way to mingle them. So you're not always going to find a club that has all your business and personal interests in one place, but you can go, look, I'm a speaker, so I'm going to form part of the associations. I also make use of ClickFunnels and I'm going to become part of their tribe as well. And I happen to be someone who loves wine, so I'm going to be forming part of that club as well and work those clubs. And you know what's going to happen? At some stage, a cross-pollination is going to happen. And that's magic. People talk about magic as a woo-woo, spiritual thing, and it is. But this is magic. Magic is created by your ability to put things together in such an individual way that no one else would have thought of putting together. For example, you like car racing, plus you like business, plus you're a speaker, plus you are a wine connoisseur. That's a recipe that's going to make a very specific cake. And that's the essence that I'm always talking about in business. You need your specific combination of who you are in order to make the best cake. And networking are only part of those. Networking is actually the part where you go and look for people who have those common denominators with you. So if you're in business, yes. If you're a wine drinker, yes. If you're into exercise and fitness, yes. If you own a yacht, yes. If you're into planting plants, yes. All those things have communities around them and they're just waiting for you. Anything else? Ding, ding, ding.
I've just put a message out to everybody who's in Australia and New Zealand, and for those of you on this podcast who are listening, reach out. The email for me is andrea@yourmarketingmachines.com.au. We've got to take action and get together. South Pacific's got to get together. So you've been warned.
Guys, even get together in person, but also form a little group amongst yourselves of 5 people or 6 people, meet each other once a month, meet each other once a quarter online, and share ideas and form friendships and learn about each other's lives, because that's the only way you're going to find out that we've got a closet freaking chocolate connoisseur amongst us. Can any of you tell me who's the chocolate person on this call? You can't. It's Philippe Gachard, right? He's very good in the chocolate mousse. He's got a whole recipe book with chocolate mousses, right? Can you tell me on this call, who's the person who's obsessed with theater? People. It's Moira. How do you not know that? It's because you don't know Moira, right? Can you tell me who on this call just became a grandmother? It's Ina. Hey, Sarja almost had that. You had that one, Ina, right? Can you tell me on this call who's an absolute fitness fanatic? Oh, Joni. Does that mean perhaps that Joni has made a lot of effort in building meaningful relationships with people? What does it mean? It gives us a clue to something. You see what I mean? So you all have to get to know each other. Any final comments before you jump into your week and start networking?
This was timeless. Thank you very much, Landi. I've made lots of notes. With the red is action today for Singapore Post Barley, where we'll do the USB showcase. So
Brilliant.
That's like really gold dust. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Joni. And I'm looking forward to seeing you working that room in the GSS. Working that room. It's going to be an incredible networking opportunity. And Ina and Andrea, both of you are coming to the Bali Business School. So I'm looking forward to you building and maintaining those deep, meaningful relationships with people as well. And of course, Diane, 3 of you, Diane, Ina, and Andrea. All 3 of you are at Business Bali School. So you have an opportunity there to really get to know each other on a deep and meaningful basis. And you know, these communities is not meant we have to like everyone. The idea is that you get to know other people and open your mind to new ideas and stretching it. But we're lucky. People in our community seem to all like each other. So I think there's some really good stuff that's going to come out of it. Yeah. So we'll see some of you somewhere in the world very soon. And we love you all very, very much. We want you to have all the success in the world. And when you need us, you know where to find us. And see you soon, somewhere in the world or online. Look after yourself.
Thanks,
Here comes
Landi.
Jesus. Bye.
Thank you.